Welcome everybody to this presentation on civil site design for BricsCAD. My name is Jonathan Taylor. I'm a product manager specifically for civil site design, and I'm based in Sydney, Australia, and I'm part of the team at Civil Survey Solutions. Today I'm going to be talking to you about civil site design, but before I do that I just thought I'd give you a quick overview of who Civil Survey Solutions are. We are a leading developer of civil and survey applications. As I said, I'm based in Sydney, Australia. We have a team in Melbourne, and we also have global partners across Asia Pacific, Europe and North America. We have a couple of major civil and survey applications that we develop. The first one is Civil Site Design, which is our flagship product, which I'm going to be talking to you about today, which is an all-in-one road, piping and site design solution. We also have a product called Stringer Topo, which is a field-to-finish set of tools for topographical surveyors. If you're interested in more information about Stringer Topo, please visit our website, which is listed, as you can see there, just below the image. So one of the questions that you may ask initially is, well, why civil site design? Well, first of all, civil site design with BricsCAD is one of the most popular applications for BricsCAD, let alone being a civil application. If you head over to the Bricsys application store, you'll see us there, very much towards the top of the list. Civil site design on BricsCAD features exclusive functionality. For example, we have our BricsCAD tin surface exchange. This means that with the new BricsCAD civil functionality that has sort of come into the software over the past few years, we can connect to that. So whenever you, for example, create a BricsCAD surface, we can now design on top of that BricsCAD surface using the exchange. Once we've then done some design modeling, we can then pass the design surface back to BricsCAD to continue the life cycle of the project. We also work with the BricsCAD Quad. So this is a feature that's been in BricsCAD for a while, but what this allows us to do is to harness contextual commands over particular features that we create with civil site design. For example, we'll create a tin surface, and then we have contextual commands, as you can see in the image there, such as a water drop or the ability to be able to turn on and off contours related to that surface, all available at your fingertips where your mouse is positioned. As far as a civil program goes, civil site design features powerful and intuitive design tools. And really what I'd like to do is cover 5 key features of civil site design. Although the software does have a vast array of functions and tools, just want to cover off some of the main ones which make it so valuable as part of your civil design. The first one is the vertical grading editor. Now, just a quick mention about the fact that this is actually a separate form. Much of what you do within the software allows you to have separate forms that you can resize and move onto separate screens rather than all being kind of muddled up inside the drawing environment. The great thing is the vertical grading editor allows you to edit the vertical geometry and profile of all of your strings within the project. We also include simple template editing, and again, rather than having all of your templates all stored within the drawing environment, we have a single library which stores all of your templates, which you can create, not just for roads, and then apply materials underneath your design for the purposes of, say, volumes later on, or for solids for IFC output. Our dynamic network creation tools mean that you can very quickly build a road model and include things like curb returns and cul-de-sacs using these very quick intuitive forms. Now, civil site design includes 3D visualization through what's known as the model viewer. Now, the model viewer basically achieves 2 things. First of all, it acts as simply a visualization tool so that you can see your design as you're creating it and making changes. It also acts as a design aid, meaning that you can get to see your model in 3D and begin to assess where things maybe need to change in the design. Coming up in a future release, we'll also be including solids, and I'm actually going to be showing you an exclusive preview of how the solids can be created within Model Viewer and then exported as an IFC file. Lastly, we have quick production output tools. This means that we can generate things like cross sections and long sections at the click of a button. So the agenda for the remaining part of this demonstration is that I can really just show you in context some of the features we have just discussed, but in a more of a workflow scenario. So the first thing we're going to do is to take a BricsCAD surface that will have already been created in our drawing and share that to civil site design using the BricsCAD Surface Exchange. We're then going to create a road model, or continue the design of a road model on top of that surface, and with that we're actually going to be showing you in context how the BricsCAD Quad can offer you some of the contextual tools. Once we've done some of that design work and showed you some of the design tools that I've previously mentioned, we'll then share the design model surface back to BricsCAD, again to continue the life cycle of the project. We'll then use Model Viewer to generate solids of that design and export an IFC file. Now the great thing is that BricsCAD can import an IFC file, so we'll show you that last process by importing the IFC file with the solids back into the drawing. So to start things off, it's just worth mentioning the platform we're going to be using today. So we're running on BricsCAD Ultimates. However, Civil Site Design will operate on top of BricsCAD Pro and BricsCAD BIM. The benefit of operating on top of BIM or Ultimate is that we get the BricsCAD Civil tab up the top here with a range of different civil tools specifically for BricsCAD Civil content. Now, Civil Site Design, as we've mentioned, will work collaboratively with the BricsCAD Civil features, such as the surface, which is where we're going to go now. So in the drawing, we already have a BricsCAD tin surface already created, and to enable us to start modeling on top of that surface, we need to pass it over to Civil Site Design. Now, when you install Civil Site Design comes with a range of new ribbon tabs that you can see are applied on the top right-hand corner over here. Today I'm going to be working on just the Roads tab, and the reason why is because many of the tools that we operate with can actually be found in this single ribbon, meaning it's much easier to learn and understand the software and get started off. Now I'm going to go to the modeling panel and click on the little pull down here, and you can see we've got the BricsCAD Surfaces function. Now this will open up the BricsCAD Surface Exchange. This is where we can exchange surfaces from BricsCAD to Civil Site Design and from Civil Site Design back to BricsCAD. All we do is we click on the Add Surface Exchange button and we choose BricsCAD to Civil Site Design Surface. And in here we'll provide a name. So it doesn't matter if we put the same name, and the reason why is because we actually prefix the surface in Civil Site Design with BRC and a dash, so there's no confusion between the two surfaces. We're going to click on Add Item, and you can see there the surface is now added to the exchange. Now there is a sync on here, which means that if the BricsCAD surface is updated, we can click on Build Update and the Civil Site Design version of it will also update. The one thing that we will do though is just change the way that the surface is being displayed in the screen, and we'll do that by clicking on the little pull down here, and we'll go and choose one of the Civil Site Design styles, which is existing triangles and contours 5 meters. We'll click on Build Update. And as soon as we do that, you can see the surface display has changed. So what we'll do is we'll close down this form and we'll introduce you to a fantastic feature which only works with Civil Site Design inside BricsCAD, which is the quad. And just down on the little menu bar down the bottom here, we've got toggle on and off for the quad. So that is currently turned on. This means if I hover over a BricsCAD, or in this case a Civil Site Design object, such as the surface that's just been created, the little pop-up will appear, and we can hover over the icon to the right hand side, and you'll just see on the right hand side here we've got a selection of Civil Site Design tools. So if I didn't want to see the triangulation of this surface, I can just click on the little toggle on off button to turn that off. If I then hover back over the contours here and go back to CSD, I can also change how the contours are then displayed. Click on the little toggle display button. In the form, you can see here we've got our surface, which we just exchanged, as I said, with the little prefix, and we can go in and change the contour intervals. So maybe make those 15 for the major, 5 for the minor. Click OK. You can see that's an immediate change within the drawing. The other great thing about this is it actually opens up contextually commands that we can get in relation to that particular feature, such as a surface. So I've got a water drop here. I can click on Add Water Drop and begin to move my mouse around, similar to what you can do with the BricsCAD surface. Just simply move my mouse around any surface in Civil Site Design, and I've got this live jig, as it's called, which is a live representation of a water drop. And if I simply left click, I can position those water drops and have them there within the drawing environment. Now the great thing is that these water drops will update. I can later on, if I show you, actually I'll go onto the CSD panel here in the quad. We can update water drops. So if the BricsCAD surface changes, we can import it back into Civil Site Design and update our water drops to reflect those changes. Now, one of the key benefits of operating Civil Site Design on top of BricsCAD is the use of our model viewer. So this is the visualization part of our software, and we can open that straight up just using the quad. Now when Model Viewer first opens, it will prompt us for a design surface and a base surface. So we have done a little bit of design in here already just to get things moving, but what we do have now is a brand new base surface which we brought in from BricsCAD, which is our BRC existing surface. We'll simply leave it there, click OK. Immediately Model Viewer will now display those two surfaces, so we can see our BricsCAD surface at the bottom here and we can see our road design on the top. Now the great thing is that we can just simply leave this window or form open and maybe position it on another screen. Now just due to the fact that you're seeing a single presentation here on one screen, I'm not going to be able to move things around, so I'll have to just shuffle the forms around a little bit just to help you guys visualize what's happening. We're just going to go ahead and change this to rendered with edges. You can see there we can now see the triangulation of the surface we just brought in. Now the great thing is we can also use contours and aerial imagery within the model viewer. If we go up to toggle display, and in here we're going to go up to the contours tab and check on the display of the contours that are currently displayed in the drawing. Click OK. Once they're shown, which you can just about see here, probably could have picked a better color, but you can maybe see those grays there being displayed. In fact, if we turn off rendered with edges, you'll see that those are the contours being displayed live for us in the drawing. The next thing we might do is to go in and also drape an aerial image. So we're going to go to toggle display. Now I've conveniently already got an aerial image positioned in the drawing, so I can just use image from drawing aerial photo, click on the picker tool, physically pick the image in the drawing environment, click OK, click OK, and now we're seeing the display of that aerial imagery on top of our natural surface or a BricsCAD surface which is being presented to us. Now let's have a look at creating our road. So before we go ahead and create a connecting road between these two roads we've already created, it's worth just showing you where our templates are stored. So on the Roads tab, we can click on the little Section Templates button, and this is a slightly newer version of our current template editor. In here we can see a range of templates which can be applied within the project. We can also create new templates within the project. So the template we're going to be applying to our road very quickly is this particular one. And an important part of civil site design templates is the ability to be able to add or apply materials underneath your design. And these are very important, particularly when it comes to creating solids and then an IFC file later on. So if I right click over an area where I want to apply some materials, I can click on Edit Section, and this little form pops up, which allows me to specify materials for the purposes of volumes as well as solids later on. So this is the template we're going to be applying. Going to click OK. Now simply we click on our little road string button over here, left click near our alignment and simply click OK. Once we've done that, a couple of things will happen. Firstly, this form will pop up which is called the vertical grading editor, which I'm going to talk about very shortly, but that does automatically open, so we're just going to close that down. In the drawing, the line work is created. Now when we have roads connecting to other roads, the software ideally would have us go ahead and create curb returns between them. Now the great thing is that we have some automatic tools to help us improve the speed of this process, so we can actually click on Auto Curb Returns. We have a radius here of 10 meters. Let's simply make that 8.5. Click OK. And the software goes ahead and connects that road. Now as a designer, we can actually go in and edit every part of the road and curb returns that have just been generated. Now just coming back to the quad, I'm simply able to hover over the road, go over to Civil Site Design or CSD, and then I get contextual commands related to that particular road. So in this example, I'm actually going to pop the form up, which I shut down just a second ago, which is the vertical grading editor. Now I'm going to move this over to one side. This is where it gets a little bit messy on screen, just with a number of forms, but you'll have to bear with me. So I'm actually going to also open up, just simply by using the quad here, Model Viewer. And to show you the dynamic nature of how civil site design operates, I'm actually going to make an adjustment to the road design, and then in turn have Model Viewer also make that adjustment. So you can see we've got this hump in the road here. Okay, so the software has generated a generic profile for us to get started off with. I decide that I no longer want to have these two vertical curves. All I simply do is go to Delete IP up here, left click near the IP that I want to edit, and you can see as I make that change, the edits happening in screen here. Going to go and delete that IP as well. And those 2 points have been removed. So very quickly we can build up a picture of what's happening in 3D with our design as we're making edits in the vertical grading editor. We undertook a survey with our customer base very recently to determine what tools are the most popular, so it helps us continue development in those particular areas. And certainly the vertical grading editor came top as one of the most valued tools in civil site design, just from the way that it can be operated. Now what we're going to do is to close down the vertical grading editor here, and we're going to move this form over to one side. In the drawing you can see that our design surface, which is the contours in blue, has continued to just update. Now the great thing is I can now share this surface back to BricsCAD. So I'm simply going to go back up to the ribbon, click on the BricsCAD Surface Exchange, and click on Add Exchange. And this time we're going to pass the surface back to BricsCAD. Now the difference is that I can actually export a model. Now the great thing about a model is that a model is nice and neatly trimmed, whereas a surface I'll just get triangulation created and simply trying to connect the strings together. So we're going to click on Strings from Model, and we're going to call this Row Design, and click on Add Item. Now when we do that, it will automatically apply a BricsCAD surface style. Now you can actually see these styles being edited here, so we can basically create our own, determine whether or not we want to show triangles, points, etc., and the contour values. We're going to click on Close and leave it at Standard and click on Build Update. We won't have seen a lot happen because the contours are pretty much matching up with the civil site design contours, but now those colours have come through, you can now see we have a BricsCAD surface of our road model. The last part of this is to now share this particular design as a model with solids as an IFC file and bring that IFC file into BricsCAD. So to do this, we're just going to simply turn off the surface models that are being displayed here for the road, which is our primary design, and our base surface. And we're also going to uncheck the contours and click OK. We're going to pop to the BIM tab. And in the BIM tab, we're then going to click on the Build BREP model. So because we've only got the one model in the project at the moment, which is Total Model, we can simply just go ahead and build it. Now because we're generating 3D solids of our particular model here, this is the type of feature that we would generally get you to run towards the end of the design process. Certainly not something we would recommend you keep running all the way through your design. But you can see that for every layer of material that we specified in our template, which we briefly looked at, each one of those has now had a render material applied, and we now have a solid. If we now want to pass that to another platform as an IFC file, all we do is we click on Export IFC. When we do that, we provide a model name, and we're simply going to call this Road Design. We've got the option of a description here and also setting the origin at 0,0, but what we're simply going to do is leave that and click on Export. Now you're prompted to save the file. Now I'm going to just simply overwrite a file location I've already got here, which is called IFC Output, and click on Save. It'll say it's completed, and we click OK. Now that's complete, we can now import the IFC file directly, if we just minimize Model Viewer, into the BricsCAD environment. Now BricsCAD, to import an IFC file, all we do is type import, and down the bottom of the form here you can see that we've got the file types options. Now traditionally that's normally set to DWG, but we can set that to IFC. We can pick our file and click on Open. And you can actually see very briefly there's just a little bit of commentary on the command line about how that IFC file has been created. But now I'm just going to hit the Control button, hold that down, use my mouse wheel to orbit within the drawing environment just so we can get a bit more of an isometric kind of view on what's happening here. So you can see there for every single section as part of our road design, we've now got solids created for all the individual aspects of our road design. So this concludes the demonstration of civil site design working inside BricsCAD, and really sort of showing how the application and the platform integrate to establish a comprehensive civil engineering design package. I hope that you found this of interest, and if you'd like more information about civil site design, feel free to visit our website, which is listed here on the slide, where you can contact us, and also you can check out our YouTube channel with exclusive learning video content about civil site design. Thank you very much for your attendance, and we hope you enjoyed the rest of the Bricsys Digital Summit.